What is up, my aesthetic boys? It's Fresh, back with another video. Today we have an episode of Entitled People with a little dash of r/ChoosingBeggars on the side. I hope you enjoy. Entitled Fedora Man tries to convince me to give up my present. Key terms and characters are me is the birthday girl, Mom is my mom, Roger my brother, Isabella my at the time brother who now identifies as female, Stockington, a cat and the birthday present, Dad is my dad, Andy is the entitled creepy Fedora Man, Drake is the nice worker, and Mariah is a really amazing receptionist. So this happened on March 3rd, my birthday. We were at the shelter and were hoping to adopt a dog. We were greeted by the world's greatest receptionist, Mariah. She's probably the greatest receptionist I've ever met, and Mom even complimented her on how good her customer service was. We didn't find a dog that we wanted, so we went in to look at cats. The second we walked in, one little angelic muffin stood out to me. He was an adorable orange cat who was getting his belly rubbed by Drake. Drake introduced himself to us and let us pet and hug the cat. The cat's name was Stockington. I was desperate to adopt him the moment I saw him, and Mom knew someone like him wouldn't last long. I mean, he tosses himself on the floor for belly rubs the second he's pet. Mom had my dad go to fill out the application form. This is when we first saw Andy. He looked like a neckbeard in training. He had on blue jeans, tennis shoes, an Iron Maiden t-shirt, a suit top, and of course, a fedora. I flinched the second I saw him since he started throwing a fit when he learned that someone, us, were already filling out the form. He walked over to my dad and tried to strike up a conversation, and my mom finished up the form. The second Andy discovered we had finished the form, he tried to convince poor Mariah that he had come in before us. Even if he had, we still finished first. I was very excited that I was getting an adorable kitten for my birthday, but then Andy, the neckbeard spawn from hell, came over to us. Andy, hey, I came here wanting that one cat you guys requested. I really had a bond with him. I immediately tensed up, and so did my brothers. This cat was my birthday present, and I wanted him extremely badly. I had fallen in love with him. And Mr. Fedora thinks he can just snatch him away? I don't think so. So, I was wondering, can I have him? Me, sorry sir, but it's my birthday. I really want this cat. I'm sure you could find another cat. This was the only one I bonded with. Roger, sir, this is her 12th birthday. She wanted a special something, and we're taking this cat home. Andy, I don't want another cat. I need this cat. My dad said the decision is final. We don't want to give you this cat. Thank God the receptionist from heaven came in and said to the man, Sir, I would like to remind you to follow our policies, which is customer service speak for, I'm this close to kicking your ass out of here. Andy grew even more frustrated, but Drake took him to meet another cat. A little while later, Andy came back to float. Andy, I found a really awesome cat, even better than Stockington. Mom raises an eyebrow. Well, that's good. We have our cat and you have yours. You might regret taking him. This cat is so much better than Stockington. Cool. She's so fluffy and nice, I can't wait to take her home. I kinda bit my tongue until Fedora Creep went away. I had gotten weird vibes from him, so I didn't feel comfortable talking to him. After he left, me and Mom talked about how creepy he was, and I cried a little bit about almost losing Stockington. All's well that ends well because we now have Stockington, who we renamed Uzroma, as our little floposaur kitten. Now, well, I'm not sure exactly what kind of slang the kids are using these days, what language is hip and in, but I can say that I think both a neckbeard in the making and floposaur kitten should enter the general English lexicon. Entitled Aunt and Cousin Hijack My Birthday. As some background, my family has a weird opinion on birthday parties. They feel like they're a waste of money, and throwing one means that you have money to spare and flaunt. So, being that I grew up in a family that was all about appearances when me and my siblings weren't, we went to a lot of birthday parties and never had ones of our own. Anyway, one year I had been really sick leading up to my birthday, so I begged my parents for a birthday party so I could see all my friends that I hadn't been able to for the past few weeks, and after days of begging, I was gonna get my Rugrats party. I have a cousin who is a complete spoiled brat, and the entitled one here, that's a few days older than me, and because of how our birthdays fell that year, She celebrated hers one weekend and mine's would be the next weekend. For her birthday, she had a laser tag party with some of her friends and a few of our cousins. There was no cake, just pizza, laser tag, and candy bags. It was a fun party. I don't remember anyone complaining. So, cue my party. A couple of my friends are there and pretty much my entire family. Entitled cousin, EC, and her mother, EA, show up pretty early, tell me happy birthday, and put their quote-unquote gift under the table. Not more than 5 minutes later, I hear Entitled cousin start to say how much she loves Rugrats, how beautiful the decorations are, and how this is a great-looking party. She then turns to her mom and says, "Tell Tio thank you for throwing me a great birthday party." I turned to her and said this was my birthday party, not hers, as she had had hers the week before, and her response was, "So? That was last week. This is my party, this week." I told her again no, and even showed her the cake which said my name on it. She immediately started crying, and her and EA went over to my dad. Entitled Aunt started calling my father inconsiderate that we couldn't include cousin in the birthday celebration because we were only a few days apart, and it was like, quote, throwing a party for one twin and excluding the other. Me and Entitled cousin weren't even close. I could never stand her. She went on to say how Entitled cousin didn't get a cake for her birthday because they couldn't afford it, which is BS because cake is way less than laser tag. And not all the family got to go because, once again, they were poor and couldn't pay for everyone. We were so much more well off to be able to afford all this, and we should share the day with Entitled cousin so that she can have a proper party with her family. My dad gave in and said she can be up there with me when we sing happy birthday. So we went about the party until it was time to sing, and then things really hit the fan. They take the top off the cake, and EC and EA remember that my name is the one on it. Entitled Aunt grabs a knife and literally scrapes my name off of my cake. When they were singing, people said my name first, and Entitled Aunt stopped them and said the names should be in age order, meaning Entitled Cousin's name comes first, and had them redo the song. Entitled Cousin got to cut the first slice of my cake, the age thing again, and then when it came time to opening presents, something I usually do after the party, Entitled Aunt insisted we do it now and give EC some of the gifts so she didn't feel left out. Most of the gifts were clothes, and me and Entitled Cousin weren't the same size, so she couldn't take those, but one gift from my parents was this turquoise and white Furby that I had been bugging them for since Christmas. I was so excited when I opened it, but so was Entitled Cousin. She said the one she got for Christmas broke and was excited to get a new one and tried to take it from me. I held tight and said it was mine. Entitled Aunt said I needed to share my gifts with Entitled Cousin because it was our birthday. I told her no. She tried to take it from me and threw it behind the table where all the other gifts were. We both got up to run for it, and I got to the table first and took the remaining amount of cake and threw it in her face. EA went off. She called me a spoiled brat who needed to learn some manners. After some arguing, she took Entitled Cousin, like 6 favor bags, and the gift she brought for me and left. And while I've seen them at family gatherings over the years, that was the last time either of them actually talked to me. I didn't win that day, but never having to interact with them again was definitely a win in the long run. Honestly, the entitlement that's obviously needed to literally try and hijack or usurp the specialness from someone's birthday and try to transfer it onto yourself or your daughter, whatever the case may be, it's so insane. All I'm left to do is hope that the story is fake. Honestly though, I've met enough people that it probably isn't. Man returns iPhone and the owner complains. It's not my story, but it's one I heard on the radio. There's this radio show where I'm from where a lawyer does call-ins from people asking him to help arbitrate their cases. My country doesn't really have a small claims court, and most people are too poor to afford a lawyer anyway. One case involved a man who forgot his iPhone, whatever was new in 2016, in a taxi. Normally, that'd mean that the iPhone was lost forever, because pawning a brand new iPhone could make you more than a month's salary. But the taxi driver was a decent person and found a way to return the phone. So why was the guy who against all odds got his brand new iPhone back calling a lawyer? Because it wasn't returned sooner. Yes, the guy who forgot his iPhone and got it returned to him called a lawyer and tried to publicly shame the person who returned an iPhone at that, I would like to remind you, probably cost more than he made in a month, because it got returned to him the Monday after he lost it, when he lost it on Friday. He claims that he, quote, needed it for work and that it contains a lot of his personal information, but nobody believed him. The lawyer tore into him on live radio and he basically got shouted down for being an entitled jackass. God, I wish more people could get shouted at for being an entitled jackass. Unfortunately, we don't all have lawyer radio show hosts easily accessible. If anyone's interested in hearing more about things getting left in taxis and trying to get them back, be sure to check out Casey Neistat's $13,238.86 left in a New York City taxi. It's a great video. Choosing Beggar decides my rates after the fact and thinks I'll still help her next time. I had a roommate once upon a time, and this roommate had a friend. This friend is our Choosing Beggar. I had a regular job where I worked as a cook in a restaurant, but I'm very good with computers and software problems. I know how to run diagnostics, remove viruses and spyware, reinstall Windows, the whole works. If it's software, I can probably fix the problem, and since this time, I have done this free for family only. Then, CB approaches me. CB: so I heard you're good with computers. That's right. So can you, fix mine? Oh, well, I don't know. I don't really do work for people I don't know. I'll pay you then. I just need it done on Friday. You're home then, right? I am, and it'll be $25 an hour. Yep, great, fine. CB brings her laptop over that Friday night and hangs out with her friend while I sit at the kitchen table, diagnose the problems, and remove all the viruses. It takes 3.5 hours, and I give a rundown of the source of the problems, tell her it's been just over 3 hours, but $75 will be fine. I am assured that this is great. CB doesn't have money on her, and I'm a bit skeptical about this, but I'll trust her. Big mistake. CB has to be asked several times through my roommate. The excuses begin. Oh, sure, I'll bring it in this week. I'm a little short, I'll come next week. I'm starting to believe that I'm not going to see this money. I'm actually surprised when CB comes over and she hands me an envelope with what should be my pay. I open it up and it's $30. I look at it and I look back up at her. It took me 3 hours. It's $75. Well, I talked to my dad and he says that's too much. It's really not. The professional places will charge you double or more, and it was a lot of hard work. Oh, I know it was 3 hours, so I brought you 3 hours of what you normally make. This is not the same thing. This is a job that involves more technical know-how. I didn't cook for you, I fixed your computer. Well, this is all you're getting, so don't bother me again. The Choosing Beggar stiffed me $45. When she came back a month later telling me her boyfriend had downloaded all those viruses again, I just shrugged. She tried to get me to fix it again for free, but I refused. She already stiffed me and she had the nerve to come back and hope I do it again. Not a chance. Make a garden for me, plant it, harvest it, and cook it for me too. My next door neighbor has been watching me prepare my garden for months to get ready for the upcoming growing season. I've tilled it, put a foot of wood chips down for weeds, and created 2 raised beds. Needless to say, I grow an assload of food and do not go to the store in the summer. She saw me building another raised bed today, which cost me $80 to make, and then I fill it with dirt. More cost. She yells out to me to come over here and build her a garden. Thinking she was joking, I said, "That'll cost you materials and my time spent." To this she snorted and said, "I'm your neighbor. You should do it for free." Which I said, "I'm gonna have my hands full with my own garden." Then she invited herself over and said, "Well, when your garden starts producing, I'm gonna come over and take what I want." To which I replied, "No, because I can save my excess food and eat it in the winter." She then went on to tell me how to plant my garden and where to plant certain plants to make it easier on her so she can take them from my garden. Plant your own damn garden. Side note, I have a small orchard in my side yard that the entire neighborhood steals from when I'm not home. Kinda okay with this, but still sad I can't harvest all my own food. Fairly certain it's her taking most of it. So first off, as someone else referenced, that's when you get a security camera. Second of all, I can imagine this interaction going somewhat along the lines of neighbor saying something that's a little aggressive, like, "Hey, why don't you just come plant my garden?" And Opie thinks, "Oh, she must be joking, right?" But as the conversation progresses, it becomes increasingly clear that the neighbor is not in fact joking and legitimately wants to be able to take whatever food you've grown for herself. Need I say it again? Security cameras. That's the answer. Thank you to everyone who watched this video. Be sure to subscribe for more daily Reddit content. Drop a like if you liked the video, and I will see you all tomorrow.